I wanted to leave this one for last, which because it's your latest accomplishment,
Yes.
which is your line of wines.
Yes.
Please talk to me about your BoundBrook is the name of your
Yes.
line.
BoundBrook Estate.
BoundBrook Estate.
Yes.
Why BoundBrook?
So BoundBrook is it. So basically, this wine is a collaboration between me and my mother. And BoundBrook is in Portland, where she grew up. So it's kind of like a homage to my grandfather, who they all grew up with him in BoundBrook, and he's been very influential in all of his children's lives. So she wanted to pay some tribute, and I was just like, all right, I like this, and so we worked on it together.
Okay. Okay. How long did it take you from conception to it being on your table now?
So the process was what I consider quite lengthy in terms of, when you look at the book writing process. So this process started in March of this year. And I recently got them in November of this year.
Wow.
So the process basically was coming up with what kind of wine do you want. Then we had to look at labels, and you have to, work with their creative team to decide on the labels, and you had to come up with a name. And then you had to look at, how do we want the bottles? There's the thing on the bottle, which is the foil around it. What color foil do you want? What color do you want the labels to be? So it was a whole process. And then we finally got to the point now of, let's get it out there. And then because of the whole shipping crisis that we've been having this year, it was almost nightmare to get it here.
Right.
But it's here, and I'm super grateful. It was a very good process and a little taxing, but enjoyable.
What are the different types? I see red, I see white.
Right. So in this sort of initial stage, we have 2 white varietals and 2 red varietals. The white varietals are a Sauvignon Blanc and a Chardonnay, and then the 2 red varietals are a Merlot and a Cabernet Sauvignon.
There's a pretty healthy wine industry here in
Yes.
Jamaica and growing, I believe. More people are becoming interested in trying wines and getting into wine. For somebody who is trying to get into wines,
Right.
where do they start? What do they do?
Well, it really, there's no one process. So I can just take you through the process that I did.
Right.
So it is a wine that's from actually Chile. So it's not a Jamaican wine. It's a Jamaican brand, but not a Jamaican wine.
Right.
So it's from Chile. And how that actually came about was a cold email.
A cold email.
A cold email.
Okay.
Emails that people just send to people that they not sure if anybody will ever answer.
Right.
Luckily, I answered.
You answered.
So
Right.
actually, it was a cold email sent from a winery in Chile that was trying to get in the process of finding other markets. And so I, did a bit of research on the winery, and then I emailed and I was just like, what can you do for me? I would like to have my own line of wines. What can you do for me? And we went through the whole process, him explaining how they, get their grapes, how they do their process. And I was like, okay, this sounds kind of nice. I like this.
Yes.
So we then went through a process of figuring out what was best for us. And the winery does the labels, and the winery has the bottles, and the winery does the bottling. And they will, create different things for you if you want something different. They're a small winery, and they're very, they're very willing to work with what the client wants. So I loved that. And so I contacted this winery, asked him, what can you do for me? He said, what do you want? I told him. And we just went through the process of, figuring out varietals that we want, figuring out the bottling, the labels, the whole process. And they just do it all and then send it to you.
So the taste.
Yes.
how do you, so this is your brand, this is BoundBrook Estate.
Right.
This is the BoundBrook taste.
Yes.
How did you get to the BoundBrook taste?
So it's a process of trying to figure out what you like. So they will send you tasting notes. So you figure out, do you want something a little spicier? Do you want something that, the smell of it, is it aroma of berries, is it aroma of, vanilla? What do you want? A little black pepper, a little white pepper? What is the flavor that you're looking for?
Right.
And obviously, in the different varietals, there is a certain flavor profile that you want from that varietal, or, technically it's something else. And also it's a matter of the grapes that you use, which gets you to that kind of thing. So once you kind of step with them, you kind of understand what you are looking for. Then you just work with them to get the flavor right. They are also willing to do something a little special for you. So if you want something a little sweeter, they will work with you in getting that formula right. If you want something drier, they'll work with you in getting that formula right. If you want a sweet red, they can work with you. If they want, a white, a sweet white, they can work with you on that. So I love the fact that the winery was kind of very like, let's get these people what they want.
Right. It's tailored for you.
Yeah.
So earlier we were having a little discussion, and I was asking, I noticed the types of wine that BoundBrook has so far.
Yes.
And I was asking about a Moscato.
Yes.
Moscato is popular in Jamaica as well.
It is.
So do you like Moscato?
I do not like Moscato. I'm sorry. No, it's. I think Moscato is a little too sweet. It's not for my palate. But I do appreciate that a lot of people like it, and I like to think of Moscato as a non-wine drinker's wine.
Okay.
Because it's very close to, except for the alcohol content, a kind of juicy flavor, like
Say light.
a juice flavor.
Right.
I've had different friends tell me, I like Moscato because it tastes like juice.
Right.
And we get into a whole argument about how your wine should not taste like juice. If you wanted juice, go and drink juice. So I don't particularly like Moscato, but I do understand that people like it. And so it is something that we are looking into for the next round, is to try to expand the varietals, because there are also some other varietals that I like that I would like to have, like Malbec. I would like to have a Malbec. So we'll work with them on getting a Malbec. I know people like Shiraz. We'd like to get some Shiraz. And maybe a sweet red and a sweet white that's maybe not a Moscato, but will, appease the people who like something a little sweeter.
So you will keep expanding on the BoundBrook taste.
Yes.
The BoundBrook line. So
Yes.
it's not just this 4 that you're seeing right now. You're gonna have more.
Yes.
But they are all available now for sale.
They are all available now for sale. You can get them currently at NK Wholesale, which is at 94C Old Hope Road. They're all there for you to go and get a case, go and get a bottle.